Hey, everybody, welcome to the Lionsgate Power Hour. Now, as soon as you jump on here, show me two things. Let me know that you can hear me and let me know that you can see me and that everything is all good. And I see people already jumping in here. So as soon as you do, let me know you can hear me and you can see me. It's been a while, but I want to make sure that you guys have everything you need before we jump into this. We are going to be talking specifically tonight about the Lionsgate Portal and all of the things that are happening with the Lionsgate Portal, what it is, what you need to do, how long it's going to be open, when it actually opened, and how to actually use the energy from this portal to triple, quadruple, and really kind of quantum leap your manifestation. So as soon as you jump on here, let me know you can hear me, let me know you can see me, and that everything is all good. Hey, Angela, thanks for joining us. Now, really quickly, before you share this live stream out, because I do want us to share this out, but I also want us to be keenly aware of who's joining this live stream. And that's why a big part of this was to make sure that whoever you wanted to get this information to actually be in this group, okay? Because every time we kind of try to do these kinds of live streams, y'all know things kind of can act a little bit funny when we're talking about energy and things like that. Hello, Angela. Hello, Facebook user. Now, remember, if you didn't register your name or anything like that, I don't really know who you are, but at the top of this live stream, you saw a point where it said that I will be going live, where I'd be going live, and you can register your name so that we can see your comments. So you're going to want us to be able to do that as we jump into this content. Valine, thank you for joining us. She says, hello, Dr. Kudger. I can hear you and I can see you. Now, really quickly, for the purposes of this live stream, y'all know I don't always ask this, but for the purposes of this, I do want you to have pen and paper because there are slides. I cannot possibly stay on track in this entire hour and get you the information that you need, the step-by-step tools that you're going to need with this Lionsgate portal opening up without having slides. So I do have slides for you guys. And so I'm going to be using those. So make sure that you have a notebook and a pen so that you can actually take notes, because I don't know just yet if I'm going to make those slides available. Someone says, hey, Angela, hey. All right. So make sure you have your notebook, your pen, a clear glass of water, right? And make sure that you have some kind of candle. Now, I'm just at my desk, so there's always candles, incense stones. Like I have this butterfly stone, which is perfect for this. Like this actually comes off. It's like a whole butterfly, but it's super, super cool. So there's a lot of things that are already kind of around me and in my space when I work. You do the same, okay? If that is what you're wanting to do tonight. Melanie Ivy. Hey, Melanie. I don't think I've ever had you join us live. Hey, Jerry Tuck. Hey. She says, hey, doctor. All right. So we're going to get ready to join in. Make sure that you have those things and make sure that you share this out. And so anyone jumping on this live stream will be able to see that these are the things that they need to be able to be a part of this live stream. Okay. So let me go ahead and actually share my screen so you guys can get the information. As soon as you have your notebook and your pen, let me know that you are all set. And I hope you guys kind of set this up early, but let me know that you are all set and that you're actually ready to go. So just type the words ready in the comments, okay? So I'll wait for you guys, because I know there's a little bit of a delay, but let me know in the comments, type ready, and then put the little, it's like a little note and a pen emoticon. So put that down as well and let me know that you guys are actually ready. You're ready to go, okay? So as soon as I start seeing those, then we'll jump into this. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Lionsgate Portal. If you've never heard of this, Angela says she's ready. Someone else says they are ready. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Lionsgate Portal and what that means. If you have never heard of this portal, after you type ready, I want you to put, if it's new to you, say that this is newbie in the comments, okay? You never heard of this portal, or you have heard of it, but you don't understand it, all of those good things, because I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys practical information that you can actually walk away with. Before and I will tell you, the first time that I actually went through this particular portal, or went through a series of what would carry me through a series of activations and acclimatization to the planet when this portal opened. It opens every year, okay, and it's been open, and it gets to a heightened state on a specific date, okay. And so Melanie says she's a newbie. Captoria says she's a newbie. Nicole says she's ready. Okay, so let me know if you're new to this, right? Valine says new. Okay, great. So if you're a newbie, make sure you share this out, because it's interesting, because the majority of the people around you don't know this either. They're either new to this or they don't know it either. So you definitely, if you put newbie in the comments, share this video on your timeline so that other people can get it. And you're going to see why when I start explaining this, because more than likely, if you've never heard of it, people in the main vicinity of you, where you work, who you are, and all that great stuff, they've never heard of it either. And they don't understand it either, right? And so when your life starts to shift after you go through some activations during this time that this portal is open, you don't want to just dump and leave those people behind. It's so important that you don't do that. And sharing this out is how you make sure you don't do that to them. Does that make sense to you guys? Let me know that makes sense. She said, this is Shawana. I am a newbie. Okay, Shawana, I thought you were a registered user with StreamYard. Why would it do your name like that? She says, Jerry says, I'm sorry, you guys can't see the comments. Jerry says, I've heard of Lionsgate, but haven't taken full advantage of the time and energy. Okay, now's the time. We'll talk about why. So really quickly, here's what we're going to go through, and this is why we have slides. So make sure you share it out. If you don't already have your candle, your water, your notebook, all that stuff, make sure you have that. Specifically, the candle. If the candle can be white, perfect. If not, anything that gives some kind of fire to continue to fuel the energy of this live stream, okay? Because y'all know when we get into kind of subjects like this, like things kind of can be like a little janky, right? But hopefully everybody is ready to go. So really quickly, we're going to be talking about what this portal is, why it is significant to your manifestation, and how you can activate and acclimatize yourself to it and use it. Number two, we're going to be talking then about your veil, which if you don't understand what a veil is, don't worry. I'll talk to you about that. Your value, which has everything to do a lot of times with the veil that you allow over your consciousness. We're going to talk about how you lift that and how to remove that and all that great stuff. And then number three, we're going to talk about how those things together can raise your vibration, right? Because the portal can be open all the time, right? And a person, all this great stuff can be happening on the planet, but year after year after year, people sit in the same energy. They sit in the same space, stay in the same stuff, and their life doesn't change. It is because the veil is still down, their value is still low, or they have not yet to understand their human value. And as a result, their vibration is just low. And they don't understand, okay, this is how I put the gas in the car to get it to go, okay? And so we'll talk a little bit about how you navigate this. She says, newbie, white candles going, stones near, water ready. Let's rock and roll. Nicole's my girl. All right, so really quickly, let's go ahead and let's kind of go. Now, I'm gonna try this with these slides, y'all. Hopefully it works. All right. So really quickly, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what that portal actually is. When we're talking about what the Lionsgate Portal actually is, it is literally like someone says, oh my God, the stars align. Yep, that's pretty much what it is. So what happens is the earth actually aligns with the planet Sirius or the star Sirius. You know it as a star, and it's usually Sirius A and Sirius B. You can look through any telescope, you can look in any science book, or you can look in 10th grade science and see that Sirius is in the sky. There is a Sirius A and there is a Sirius B. What happens is at one point during the year, almost always, things are moving kind of in the earth, in space and all that great stuff. Really quickly, Sirius lines up with the earth. And at that point, that is when this portal opens. Now, that typically happens on 8/8. Now, people keep up with this date because they say the two 8s look like an infinity symbol, whatever you want to do to keep up with it. Here's why this is important, though. Sirius is 26 times brighter than your sun. Who cares? Why should we care? Here's why you should care. The sun, the light of the sun, the brightness of the sun naturally has an effect on your physical body. It naturally has an effect on your spiritual body. So when we are in alignment with something 26 times brighter, can you imagine the quantum leap and the change, not just in the way you look, in the way you feel, in the way you think, in your vibration? Everything changes. What you attract, who you are, who comes into your life, everything shifts. This is why this is important. Okay. So, and Sirius is actually twice as large as our sun. Now, if you're not familiar with what the sun actually does, the sun actually activates our reproductive system, men and women. So sometimes women who were not able to conceive or have, brilliant ideas, they can have these ideas if they start getting outside more, getting more sun. They go to the beach, they get in the water. Anything that they do that puts them in constant contact with the sun tends to raise their vibration. That's what the sun does. The sun also does some things to the skin. It also has a healing effect and a natural detoxifying effect to the organs. So if you're not familiar with what the sun actually does and you don't get enough sun, this is why when people were in the house during this pandemic, when they got outside, when people, just to see a person outside in the sun, we were like, oh my God, I need to get outside in the sun, right? Even if you were someone who was a homebody, you craved the sun. You still wanted to go for a walk. You still wanted to get fresh air. You craved the sun. The sun activates us in so many ways. Now, think about something twice as big, 26 times as brighter. What do you think that celestial body will do to you when it is in the sky and it is available to you? Well, I can tell you what it does. It creates this massive influx of energy that will quantum leap your being and your life, period. That is the energy it creates. This is why this is such a huge deal. And when this portal opens up, it typically opens up between July 26th and August the 12th is when it usually starts to close. But I'm gonna give you guys a timeline of how to break this down and what you should be doing from the 3rd all the way up, because there's a lot of other things happening between these time periods. Before the 8th gets here, you need to be ready. When the 8th leaves, you need to be ready for what's coming next. Okay. Let me know that makes sense. She says, yes, it does. I love the sun. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Angela Smith says, wow. There's something in my mouth. Angela Smith says, wow. Yes. So think about that, right? And so this is marked by an alignment of Earth and Sirius. Now, you may also find that historically, this is in alignment with the pyramids of Giza. They were built to align with Sirius A and B. So that's why, and every time this happens, this alignment happens, they are always ready with this influx of energy that will propel humanity. So think about where humanity is right now, right? Think about what's going on with humanity right now. And every time humanity gets upgrades all the time, y'all. So this isn't something new. You just see the upgrades in the lives of people like celebrities. You see the upgrades in the lives of people who you may have grown up with and their life is completely different. You see the upgrades in people who are doing all these different things, right? And so you want to make sure that you don't look at this serious. You don't look at this in such a way that it's like it's for them and not me. We are at a space where that's no longer the case. When this type of energy comes to the planet, if your physical body is on the earth, then this massive manifestation is for you. And I'm talking about quantum leaping, meaning today you're just now starting your business. Next week, you get a contract for over 300 clients. Do you understand me? Like this is not something that like you are in a space to collapse every timeline. When Sirius lines up with Earth, there is no time. So there is no let me put in my elbow grease to make this thing work. That's not how this works anymore. That's so old school, right? If we even count in old school, right? That's so old school. We don't do that anymore, right? She says, If you're looking for the word serious, yeah, it's on the slide. She says, that's the part that's incredible to me, how the stars align with the pyramids of Giza. Yes, yes, yes. And so it is here to remind us of the fact that we are these multidimensional beings, right? And we can do so much more than just get up and go to work every day. Like, who does that anymore? I don't even know anybody that does that anymore. So really, so I want you to understand why this portal is so important. Okay. I am not an astrologer, right? One of the things, though, that I am keenly aware of is how the planets and the stars and the things in the sky align with how we're feeling. And you've probably been someone where if you've been feeling this energy already, type it in the comments. Tell me a little bit about what you've been feeling, right? Because I'm going to go through a couple of like the symptoms and different things that could happen to make sure that you understand that you're in the right space, and that this is just something that's happening right now. And so a lot of times you'll see this, people say, oh, this is happening in the sign of Leo. That's not really true. So, or they will say it's Leo season. Even that's not true. So when we think about it, there are so many different ways of reading and looking at astrology that I know that there's three main ways. There's Western astrology, there's sidereal astrology, and there is 13 sign astrology. Western astrology tells you that it's Leo season right now. Sidereal and 13 signs say it's Cancer season right now, right? So depending on which ones you check, that lets you know what kind of season or where this is. But that's a little bit less relevant to the fact that you understand that this portal is opened, right? So she says, I'm feeling tired. Captoria, we'll talk a little bit about that. Who else is feeling this energy, and how are you actually feeling, right? And so it's associated with this heart opening, and for us to be able to cultivate individual relationships with the divine or with God. So you may already feel like you have a relationship with a higher source, or whatever it is you call that source. If it is not a working relationship, and here's what I mean by working relationship: a relationship that advances your life and you can calculate it. Every year, your opportunities get greater. Every year, your confidence soars. Every year, something in your life grows, right? And I mean tremendous growth. That is a working relationship with a higher power. I don't just mean you got a $2 raise on your job. That ain't a working relationship with a higher power. That's just you showing up on time regularly. That is not some massive, growth. I'm talking massive manifestation because you are in alignment with God. If that is not happening to your life, then this portal is opening so that you can create that relationship without taking a lot of time to do so, right? Angela says, feelings of labor, ready to birth the new beginnings. Yes, indeed, right? So for me, I feel more of, it's a chest thing for me, right? It's not painful, but you do feel these kind of flutters in your chest, especially with heart opening things like what's going on right now. You feel these flutters in your chest, and all those, or at least that's what I feel, right? Some people get rashes. Some people get breakouts, right? So a lot of things will start happening to your physical body to purge so that you can leap forward. Some people get unknown, fever of unknown origin. Obviously, we're in a pandemic, so make sure you check, right? And here's what I mean by that. Like in the morning, you might be fine. In the afternoon, you might be burning up. And then by the evening, you're fine again. It just comes and goes, right? Or you might wake up in the middle of the night and you're freezing, but there's no air on. There's no reason why you're cold. So you get these temperature swings sometimes, right? You have a bright idea and all your hairs stand up. These are the signs that you are going through kind of an awakening process. But the way you elevate that, the way you perpetuate it and push it forward is when you activated during this portal opening. Does that make sense, y'all? Lakeisha says, yes, I have feeling an extra urge and shift to move forward in several things without hesitating. You may also feel an overwhelming sense of peace when something used to be overwhelming. You may also feel like an idea. Like I was talking to somebody the other day and he was like, I have to do this thing. He was like, I thought about doing this 20 years ago and I've never thought about it until now. It's not a coincidence. So things that you have been putting off or that you thought were off to you, or you didn't have the skill, we're going to talk about that. You didn't have the ability, you didn't have the resources. Those things coming back up now means that all of the obstacles are going to be moved out of the way if you understand how to lift the veil, understand what your true value is, and understand how to raise your vibration so that you can just do this darn thing. Like, that's really what this is about. And so Keisha, when you have these urges to shift and move forward, that's what this is. Now, even though this portal has been open since July 26th, it opens every year. I went through it last year, and anybody on here can tell you Legacy has 8-figure deals on the table when we were just a 6-figure company last year. Like, we skipped 7. So when I tell you massive manifestation, massive leaps can happen, I'm not lying to you. And last year was the first time I did that portal. And so something I discovered, and I'm going to be sharing with you, that for some people, this portal is going to open for you to get out of what the biggest issue has been for you. For some people, that's making money. For some people, that's leaving their job. For some people, that's raising their kids in a better environment. For some people, that's bringing in love, right? For some people, it's starting a family, right? What is it for you? What is it for you? And I want you to put this in your notes, because I want you to jot down something that is of monetary value, because we got a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'll walk off my job, but I need to know how to take care of myself. And that's relevant. That's facts. I get it. But at the same time, we have to understand where this veil is coming from and why we still have this veil. Nicole says, peaceful recently with decisions and relationship. I love it. She says, oh my God, I literally just went to doctor because of heart palpitation. Yep. Heart palpitations happen all the time. I don't even sweat it anymore. Because I understand that, obviously I go to my doctor, right? I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'll go to my doctor, but at the same time, I don't let it bother me, because I know I have a heightened sensitivity to energy since I went through this portal last year. So if I go into a place where there's so many people, I can sense everything, right? And so because of that, I make sure that I limit my time in these places, right? For example, like if I'm in the gym, which I go to the gym every day, because there's such a surge of energy, I have to work out every single day. Otherwise, my feet are like jittery. You could never understand it, right? I gotta go work off some of the energy because the vibration is so high, right? And when I'm in the gym, people look at me like, are you in the military? How the hell are you working out like that? Like, dang, look at you, And so, and at the same time, I'm not there to have a conversation. I'm highly focused and intentional when I'm there. Okay. So keep that in mind as well. Someone else says waking up 3 to 4 a.m. daily. That's it. She says, yes. Lakeisha says, oh, wow. I had fluttering and for a minute was like, what is this? But immediately felt peace. Yeah. One of the ways you can check that, if you feel fluttering in your chest, just check your pulse. Like, as long as your carotids that are running down the side of your neck, as long as though, and you can breathe deeply to slow it down and feel your pulse at the same time. That's what I do. And that helps me kind of ground myself. Now, if you have constant heart issues, then palpitations don't necessarily go away. They're always there. And there may be something else going on. But if you breathe and you slow down your breathing and you control it and you can feel your pulse slow, then it may be a cosmic response to what's going on. And there's just nothing wrong with you, right? And someone else said, Amelia says, I have been having rashes show up on my chest. The first time I went through this portal, Amelia, there was a massive rash all across my back. And it started from one side of my arm and it went around, almost like a shawl wrapped around my back, and it was on the other shoulder, right? And I was like, okay, this is going to leave an ugly scar. Right? That's the first thing I thought. But within about 48 hours, it was gone. Amelia, it was gone. No scar, no nothing. It was completely gone. It was like it was never there. And I was like, I got to look this up. And that's when I started learning about ascension symptoms and all of those different things, right? And so she says, I'm open to different financial opportunities. Yes. And so Jerry says, I have been working on healing childhood trauma, hurts, pains, and I have been really supported in that. It feels good. That's amazing. She says, right, all clear with the test. Right. I got to check with the test. She says, oh my God, my energy sensors are overly active. Yeah, in many cases, a lot of people are, especially around this time. Now, Jerry says, I have also felt called to change how much I work like that. So, okay. So Jerry, I'm glad you brought this up, and I'm going to try to push through the slides, you guys, and I'm going to come back to the comments. Okay. I promise. If we have enough time at the end, what I am willing to do is I'm willing to allow someone to come onto camera, meaning I will give you, you can inbox me on Facebook and I will give you my link here and you can join me live and we can talk about your situation and we can walk down through your situation. So if you're wanting to do that, let me know that in the comments as well. And I'll circle back and we'll make sure you get the link. Okay. That's for you to come on camera with me. Okay. All right. So really quickly. So like I said, it may be happening in Leo, more than likely it's happening in Cancer. Okay. The sign of Cancer, meaning you want to look at your natal chart. And if you don't want to do this, that's fine. But to get to know where this work is actually happening in your life, you want to make sure you're looking at your natal chart and seeing where Cancer is in your chart. You don't have to be a Cancer or a Leo. You still have things in that chart. So for some people, the sign of Cancer right now might be in the space of relationships. That means you're getting ready to quantum leap. For someone looking for a husband or someone looking for a wife or a life partner, you're getting ready to raise your vibration to the point where now they can find you. Right. So you want to know what part of this. For some people, it's in their sector of money, careers. Right. And for some people who have been feeling alienated on their job, like they don't belong there and like it's just devaluing them, you're getting ready to leap into a completely different space with one idea. So you want to know where this is happening in your chart. I'm just going to put that out there. Now, you don't have to know that if you don't want to, but you're just going to get a better result if you know where it is. Okay. In general, you can still use this energy because it's happening for everybody. So I just want to make that clear. Okay. So really quickly, besides that, you want to make sure that you understand that the size of Sirius and all that stuff like that, that this is opening. It opens every year from July 26th through August the 12th. This year, it's going to culminate with the new moon on August the 18th. So August the 3rd is a full moon, and that's why we're having this thing. So because you want to know what to do with the full moon, get yourself ready to go through the portal and then be ready to start with something new on the 18th of August. So this is kind of a long-term game. This isn't something that is quick, right? It's not super fast. The elevation in your energy is fast, but the results you're going to start to see over time, right? So like from the last time this opened in 2019 until now, looking at where my life and everything has leaped in business, you can't even freaking recognize it. It's completely freaking different, right? My conversations are different. My meetings are different. My time is spent differently. And so, and I want to come in here and go live about stuff, but my life just doesn't allow it anymore. It literally, somebody looked at my schedule. They was like, how the hell did your schedule fill up like this? I was like, I can't say I don't know, because I do know. I went through the portal last year, right? I went through the activations. And so part of this is not just going through the activations and understanding them, but part of this is really buckling down and focusing in so you can work in the energy moving forward. Because even after this portal closes, you're still going to be, I'm still working in the energy from last year. I'm still looking at all the numbers, right? I'm still looking at the next piece of the school of my life, right? But I'm out of the space of needing anything financially. I'm completely out of that space now. And so whatever your most pressing need is, and we're going to talk about this, that's what this full moon is coming to obliterate. So if you are, and that's the beautiful thing about this portal right now, is because it goes through a full moon and a new moon. You don't have no excuse. You get an opportunity to cut away everything that doesn't work, usher in everything that does work, go through the portal and sing kumbaya, right? And work your magic in the year to come, right? So massive, massive growth. All right. So really quickly, let's move forward with the slides. So everybody knows when the portal opens and what's happening. Let's talk a little bit about the veil. Okay. When it comes to the veil, we are talking about the veil The veil that there's two different kinds of veils. Okay. The first one is the veil, and this is the one that we're going to talk about, the veil over your human consciousness. Okay. I want you guys to type in the comments, I am a human, period, being, period. I am a human, period, being, period. I am a human, period, being, period. All right. Put that in the comments. Okay. The reason why I want you to say this is because there is a veil that comes over you when you are born. Okay. There is a veil that comes down over you, right? And all your good beingness, right? The humanness, your veil comes over you. Now, that veil kind of makes you forget that you were this multidimensional goodness, magical, amazing being, right? If anything, you're being human, right? But I'm not going to even go into that. When you write this out, and I want you to write this in your notebook too, I am a human, period, being, period. The human part is a noun. It's a thing, right? Noun names a person, place, a thing, right? That being part is a verb. That being part is a verb. That means there is action allocated to that word. There is action allocated to the word being. Okay? English 101. Human is a noun. Means a person, place, a thing. Object. Being. Action. Verb. There is action allocated to that word. Write that in your notes. You are both of these things. Okay? Now, this veil comes over your consciousness that helps you be more human. That allows you to be with people, other humans, all this great stuff. But we forget that we are a being. And sometimes we forget to be multidimensional, able to manifest whatever we want, right? We forget. And so this veil of consciousness comes down on us. It can come down in the way of religion. It can come down in the way of trauma. It can come down in the way of lack or poverty. It can come down in the way of poor environments, lower vibrational environments. You have to work to get your vibration back up to where your natural beingness has always been. You are not necessarily changing. You're just really going back to who you already were, right? So people think, oh, I'm growing to something greater. No. You're just going back home because you were great. You were magical. You were all that stuff anyway, and then some. But the human side of us leads us to believe consciously that what we see is all there is. This portal serves not to just raise that veil, but to tear it in half and completely get rid of it. So anytime this type of massive veil removal is happening with humanity, we clamor to get next to each other. Look at the protests. It almost feels like people are crashing into one another because of the energy that we're in, right? Anytime humanity is going through these major shifts and the veil is coming up, what you thought was true is no longer true, right? I bet you have Black people that thought all white people were the same. That is a lie. And now you see it. Or you thought every other race was against your race. It is a lie. It is not true. And every single protest across the globe has shown you that has never been true. Veil comes up. Do y'all understand that? Let me know that y'all understand that in the comments, right? Because when we talk about the veil, a lot of times I don't talk about the veil because I understand that whatever veil you argue for, you get to keep. whatever covering, whatever you don't want to see, whatever you don't want to do, however you don't want to advance, you get to keep that limitation. You get to hang on to that until you're ready. Portal opens up every year. If you're ready, then the veil comes off and you keep going. If you ain't ready, your veil stays down and we'll see you next year. But the portal is still going to open. So every year, humanity gets the opportunity to truly advance. And for those people who are highly opinionated and not necessarily paying attention to what's happening for real in their life at a soul level, they get left behind. They get left behind every year. They get left behind every year. And they wonder why they've got 50 million years on the same job. Veil. I don't know any other way to say that. Okay. So here's how you know you have a veil. So when you're going through this process and you're wanting to get beyond this, here is some evidence that you got a veil happening. That there's some kind of veil action popping in your life. First thing is you have a pre-planned response to everything. How many of you have ever talked to somebody and they got a scripture ready before you open your mouth? Pre-planned response. It's a pre-planned response. And don't get it twisted. I know my word, but pre-planned response. They're not being. They are responding to a veil over their humanness. That is what they're responding to, right? Humans that are being are here to be and have new ideas all the time. New ideas, new experiences all the time. In the grand scheme of the universe, you are here to create, change, and evolve. If you don't ever have new ideas and everything is pre-planned and you say what's been taught to you, veil, 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 veil. And you have to decide when that veil is going to come off. For some people, this is hard, very challenging, because they've lived their life a completely another way, and they are afraid to see what happens when the veil of their consciousness opens up. They're afraid. I get phone calls from people like that are like, I'm a high profile leader. I cannot dare say that I no longer believe this. My life, my brand, my livelihood is built around this. Veil. I can't tell you what to do. There's a lesson if you keep it or if you give it away. Right? And so we have to be aware of that. So pre-planned response. I can't, I won't, I shouldn't. Contractions, veil, 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 veil. Anything that comes into your mind and it is a challenge to accept it instead of exploring your thought process around how you really feel about it, veil, veil. If somebody tells you, oh, they're doing XYZ over in Africa, oh, these people are crazy, veil. You have no idea. You've probably never been. You have an opinion about it and you know nothing about it, veil. Consciousness veil, right? And so everybody has one. If you came into this human existence, you got one. And over the years, we layer it and add more to it. And so it takes time. It all may not go away with this portal for some, but we are in the energy where we can cut through all of those layers and it can completely be obliterated, right? So another thing is they're more attentive to the physical things, dressing the body up, wearing great makeup. They want you to see what they drive. They want you to look at their shoes. They want you to see their house. Veil. What else you got? Because if we all could manifest the same old stuff, what else you got? Show me your spiritual report card. What else you playing with? And the reality of it is the vibration is low because they're spending all of their time in denser energies with physical things. But I'm not even going to get into that, right? So when they're big on their physical stuff, see my house, see my car, see my watch, see my friends, see my blah, 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 veil, 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 veil. So if that's happening, then you want to be aware of that because there's a lot of leaders coming up now that got a veil. Straight up veil. And if your vibration is high, you don't want to be hanging around somebody with that lower, denser energy. You want to try to raise yourself. The goal is to raise above that so that you can help humanity. That's what it's about. Right. She says, oh my, denser energy with physical stuff. There is a book, you guys, and the book is called, matter of fact, let me pull it up because I was just reading it. It is a book called The Exploration of the Nine Dimensions. And I don't know of another source that teaches this better. Let me see. Let me see here, y'all. It is called I don't know if y'all can see that. It's called The Alchemy of Nine Dimensions. The Alchemy of Nine Dimensions. It is on Audible. So it will teach you about the denser energies all the way through to nine dimension and the ninth dimension and what it all means. Okay. So get that book. It will change your life. And that's how you'll see people who stuck on physical stuff, how they really are playing in a very, very low vibration. And there's so much more that they could be doing besides enticing humanity with stuff we none of us owns. None of us can take with us back at a soul level. If we're really looking at it, right? She says, "Oh, come on through." She said, let the veil be removed. Yeah. So, all right. Another thing is there's minimal evidence of evolution. They feel they do the same old stuff. They with the same old people. You know the song that comes to mind. I really hate to say this, but it's like everywhere I go, I see it's that kind of energy, right? It's that kind of energy. Same old stuff, same old people, same old everything. They rocking the same old tune year after year after year after year. Veil, 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 veil. Veil. I'm not impressed by your veil. I don't care about it anymore, right? I don't care about what you got. Show me what you're working with when it comes to spiritual stuff, because that's going to be because these portals and these energies keep opening up. People are going to be drawn to people with higher vibrations, and they no longer have a veil, so they're not going to be running to people and things and friends who still have a veil, right? Right. Jerry says, yeah, everywhere I go, right, I see the same old stuff. So another thing is vivid dreams of unknown origin. These vivid dreams show up when you're ready to take a veil off. Now, hear me clearly. How many of you actually have dreams and you can remember your dreams? Nicole says, same old, same conversation, same old. Yeah. That's exactly right. How many of you actually have dreams? And I'll wait for you guys to comment, right? You have vivid dreams and you don't know where they come from. They're just kind of there. You don't know where they come from, right? Somebody says, I do. Keisha says, yes. You know, these dreams sometimes show up when it's time for a veil to come up. And so instead of God just kind of thrusting you into this new everything, here you go, here's your new life, you're awakened. No, we have a fail safe. That's why we have a veil. It's kind of our fail safe. But for some people who are ready to quantum leap, these surges of energy come through every year to really kind of help those people move along so that they're not going little by little by little. But you don't take a 5-year-old and give him a 10 speed, like as a bike. No, you're going to give him a little trike first, right? And so it serves for us to be able to look at the things that are happening in our lives to be able to understand, okay, help me remember where I was and what this really is all about. Help me remember I understand my humanness. In my humanness, I'm an anesthetist. In my humanness, I own a school. In my humanness, I drive an Italian car. Like in my humanness, these are the things. But in my beingness, help me understand who I was and what I'm doing. And that's not something you can just throw into a person's face, right? It has to be a little piece at a time. And so how do you get these messages? They come through your dreams, snippets of who you were, things that you know you never felt like you knew how to do. Like I do not inherently study business, but I know how to run a conglomerate. I know how to build massive wealth. I just know it. I innately just know it. And I never would have been able to do that if these dreams, these ideas that are like, that ain't got nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. How in the world do I actually know this? You're going to get snippets through your dreams. These might come as ideas that are overwhelming, that you're like, wait a second. I have no idea how to even do this. A part of this portal and a part of the energy coming through this portal is for your DNA to be activated as well. So you will hear things called, crystalline light body activation. That is your spirit body activation. This is the other part of you waking up. So your DNA, from all that you've always known, everything in you, your gifts, talents, dormant abilities, those become activated when this portal opens. So you're going to naturally get dreams that there is, got a veil in the way though. We need you over here, but there's a veil in the way and you stuck over there. So let me start training your thought process around who you really are. So you'll start to get these vivid dreams about things that have nothing to do with your personal life right now. And in some cases, you don't even know, you don't even see yourself in the dream, or do you? Right? Because one of the things that somebody told me, she was like, I saw myself in the dream, but she was like, it wasn't me. It wasn't the me now. Right. That's how this happens. Right. So you got to be aware of when the veil shows up. If an idea shows up or comes to you and a lot of information is coming through for people who are ready to help humanity, that could be you. And you may feel like, no, I am just an XYZ. No, I don't know how to do XYZ. Your humanness doesn't know how to do it, but your being remembers how to do it. Your being can do it in its sleep. Your being, your DNA knows what's up. Got it? So we have to understand. So the veil has to come up. Veil has to leave. And so when we're talking about lifting the veil, we're talking about consciousness. We're talking about removing the things that no longer serve us. This is why the moon tomorrow is so important. The full moon serves for you to let go of anything, even if it's a mindset that says no to everything, that has a healthy dose. Throw your healthy dose of skepticism to the birds like seed, honey. Get rid of that. Because the reality of it is, no matter what you choose, earth is for learning. So get rid of the fear of choosing wrong. Get rid of that, right? Get rid of that. Okay. And so she says, powerful. Someone says insight or foresight into your next. Absolutely. It absolutely is. Lakeisha says, so realistic. It's hard to believe it was not real. Because Lakeisha, it more than likely was real. It's showing you who you were, or it's leading you to something that you will be at some point. All right. She says, yes, it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I get a lot of phone calls from people that say this doesn't make sense to me. I even get phone calls from people saying, I pulled you into my dream, right? I pulled you in as my anchor because you anchor me to my humanness. Like I have to know which part of me is real, because in this dream, I'm doing things that I would never do in my humanness, but my being does these things. And these things are changing humanity. Yeah, they're going to show up in your dreams. So that's what this portal is. This portal is allowing us to be able to be part of it, the energy that will rent the veil, that will completely get rid of the veil, right? Or at least help you have a healthy way to recognize that you do have a veil. So if after all of this, someone asks or says something and you have a pre-planned response, veil. Now you will not only be able to recognize yours, but you'll start to be able to recognize the fact that people around you are the same way. Veil, 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 veil. And so if you want to lift that, got to recognize it first. And then use this full moon on the 3rd of August to be able to do a mental detox. I like that you said that. I don't know your name, though. Put your name with it. So you're able to do kind of a way to kind of flush out, right? The things that no longer serve you. Really flush those things out. And for some of you, you might say, I have a lot of stuff that I need to do for this full moon. One of the things I found to be very beneficial on my journey over the years is I use every full moon and every new moon to do really great spiritual work on myself, so that when these big portals open like this, I'm ready. I don't have a closet with stuff falling out of it that I got to figure out. My past hurts and traumas and all that stuff. The moons have been here for you to do that work. But if you haven't been following those, or you don't for whatever reason, then you might feel like there's a lot that you've got to work through to get ready for this portal. No. Remember, you can still quantum leap with this portal being open and with this activation, okay? This says, I'm open to the original me. Remove what no longer serves me. I love that. Love that. She says, Sheila. Hey, Sheila. All right. Okay. So beyond the vivid dreams, unexplainable ideas or symptoms. And we talked a little bit about that with the palpitations, with the fluttering in the chest that some people feel, rashes of unknown origin, surges, or, up and down of temperatures. Right. And so you want to make sure that this makes sense. For example, the surge in temperature. Where was I? It was it may have been like yesterday. What's today? Sunday. It was Friday. I went out of the house to do some things, right? And I stopped at this place where they were taking your temperature, mask required, all those things. And I was in my car in the air conditioning the whole time. And when I got out of the car and my temperature was 101 when she checked it. I was like, I have no idea. Maybe the thing is broken. 101. And she was like, okay, well, I'm going to have you sit right here until it goes down. I said, okay, can I have some cold water? Can I have because I knew that this is just what's happening right now. It ain't hot outside. My car's got AC. There's no reason why my temperature is that high, So it went down, obviously. And they gave me my service, thank God. But yeah, so keep that in mind. And so let's go ahead and let's go through, now that we understand the veil, right? Is everybody clear on the veil and how the veil works? Let's look at understanding your value, because a lot of times we assess value based on our humanness and not our beingness, right? Remember, human, period, being, period, right? Two different things, right? And so one of the things I want to stress to you is that your value, a lot of times people connect their value to their veil. So they only feel like they can accomplish things based on what they think they've done here as a human. They don't see themselves quantum leaping with that veil not being there. And so your value has to do with that veil. But remember, your value in absence of the veil, you are invaluable. Your being is invaluable. Your ability is invaluable, right? Your manifestations, your magic, everything that you be is absolutely invaluable. But we tend to attach value based on the veil when it has nothing to do with that. You embody already everything you need to help humanity in a massive way. And I don't know of any other way to say that. It doesn't matter where you live, what you drive, who invited you in their circle, hell, who don't. Be so busy building your own circle, right? Building your own freaking table that it doesn't matter who. I could care less if you invite me to your table. I'm too busy building several of them for humanity. Like, I'm indifferent. You are invaluable. Invaluable. Your brilliance, your levels of consciousness with that big, beautiful brain of yours, you are absolutely invaluable. And don't ever let someone assess your value based on what you look like, what you drive, and all this other stuff. If they do that, think what? Veil. Let me move on. They on some lower vibrational BS. Veil. Let me move on. Veil. When I do pull up, I ain't pulling up to stop next to you. Veil. I need some people talking a different language to me. I am invaluable. You are invaluable. Build your own. You have everything you need to do that. And what you think you don't have, all you have to do is connect in the community of the folks you know can get it for you. You are absolutely, absolutely invaluable, right? So it's connected to the veil if you don't allow that veil to raise up and be removed, okay? But you want to release the veil in order for your value to raise, okay? So they both kind of go up at the same time. And it is seen and it is unseen. So some people might assess value to things that are tangible and things that are seen, but the reality of it is your being side of this thing is unseen. The value that you carry is unseen. Zach, I hope that makes sense to y'all. And then it is never, ever monetary. It is never monetary. Ever monetary. Somebody says, Valine says, yes. Nicole says, you are teaching tonight. Veil, right, Nicole? Move on. Be like, oh, that's nice, girl. I like it. Veil. You won't hear from me for a long time. And they be wondering why she'll never call. Veil. When yours goes up, I'll know it. Because we'll get reacclimated. Someone says, Lakeisha says, yes, we have to stop believing we don't have what it takes to be at the levels of those we admire. Listen. And they released their veil a long time ago. So when we also have to stop judging them if they don't do something. Like I saw something today about saying like Beyonce was responsible for COVID-19. Is she not? I just don't care. Like what does that have to do with me and my mission to the planet? Well, it might have something. No, it does not. Veil. The moment you realize that you are on your own path and what you bring to this planet is invaluable, it ain't got nothing to do with nobody nowhere else. There's 9 dimensions you can play in. Veil. Keep it moving. Why do you even care about what they got going on? You'll never know them because you're not on their level. Veil. You'll never have the truth. Conspiracy theorists. Veil. Be so busy about your life and what you bring to the planet that what everybody else got going on, I don't know what they're doing. I didn't even know she released something new. Have no idea, but I'm sure somebody's going to tell me about it. Have I watched it? No. Maybe I will one day, but it ain't going to be today. I am so busy about what I'm supposed to be doing for humanity that none of this other stuff matters to me. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I'm still trying to work through the energy from last year's portal. Nicole says, move on. Jerry says, not understanding my value is what led me to heal childhood stuff. It was keeping me stuck and feeling unworthy. A lot of people feel like that, Jerry. They sure do. Valine says, you are speaking my language. Wow. Lakeisha says, yes, I'm going to keep building the tables I have been purposed to build. I miss you so much. Lakeisha, I miss you too. You are an absolute Jill. She says, holla at KM. Keep it moving, right? Keep it right on moving. We do not care. I do not care about what nobody else got going on. I'm sorry. I'm too busy manifesting, making magic, being in tune with the divine. I'm too busy for the bull. I'm too busy for the BS. I'm too busy. If I act brand new, then you're probably right. And I mean that. So Nicole says, I had a conversation with someone the other day and immediately felt stagnant. Veil. I end that conversation so quick. I'm like, oh yeah. Wow, look at the time. Look at the time, girl. I gotta go. End it quickly. Right? She says, still stuck, still talking about the same stuff. Conversation was quick. It has to be, Nicole. It has to be quick. It has to be quick. And so I want us to understand that we can adopt a new perspective when we're talking about what our value is. And that perspective is, how much have you brought to the planet? How much have you lived out at your highest self, not at your highest bank account or dollar amount, right? How much have you brought to humanity and how well did that play out? Because even if you got the idea about what to bring to humanity today, it still might take you another 5 years to walk that thing out because you have your own stuff to deal with. And so the perspective here is, hey, I don't care that, they giving away houses in some states. I don't care about what your house look like. Like, who cares? Who cares? Somebody might care. Somebody else with a veil might care, right? But I don't assess value that way. I am all about your vibration, all about your vibe. Because at the end of the day, at the end of this humanness, My beingness must be satisfied with what I brought to the planet. That's just me. At the end of it, when this human life ends for me, my being has to be satisfied with what I brought to humanity this round, right? So I hope that makes sense. She says, I'm building my own table. Yes, Angela. She says, I just can't have conversations with people who do and act the same as when we were. I don't even know nobody in high school. Girl, I done been to so many colleges, like, and I don't even keep up with them people. Like, I just, no, I'm all, like, I vibrate the way a human should. So I'm always moving. Things are always changing. And when people don't want to change, they get uncomfortable around me really, really fast. Because I'm always shifting. And I can't promise anybody that I'm going to have the same conversation about something yesterday as I did today. Between them 2 days, I might have read a book about 9 dimensions. And I might have been in a different space yesterday than I am today. We are here to be. Your beingness must be satisfied at the end of everything. So she says, your value is greater than anything money can buy. It absolutely is. She says, it makes perfect sense. Applause. All right, you guys, let's keep moving and finish this up. So now that you understand the value and the veil, let's look at how to raise your vibration. Now, in this energy, there are several ways to do this, but I want to make sure that before I give you the timeline for the portal and the moons and what to do on all those different days, and I'm going to make that screen bigger because you might want to, screenshot that last one with the timeline on it so that you know what to do. August 3rd through the 8th, August 8th, all those days I have for you in one slide. So you'll have that, right? So you are here to be. Yes, Raylene says you're here to be. Yes, I love that. So really quickly, let's take a look at how to raise your vibration. Now we know that the veil can keep us stuck, and we know how to recognize if that veil is there or if that veil is trying to come up with our dreams and different things, or if you're someone, especially that's been feeling really tired, you got physical symptoms, that's also a sign that your vibration is trying to go up, but you are challenging something. That your vibration is trying to go up, but there's something in your physical body you're challenging it. Whether it's the way you think about it, whether it's the way that you were taught about it, something in you challenges it. Another sign of this is when you hear someone say, I will always do this. I will always be this way. You're not here to always be anything. You're just here to be. Just here to be. So that's a sign that there is resistance to this veil wanting to come off. That's a sign of it, right? Because neither of us if we can be here today and gone tomorrow, we ain't gonna always be nothing. You can't commit to always being anything, right? And so we want to make sure that we're understanding this. So when we're talking about raising our vibration, right? Everything on earth vibrates. Animals have higher vibrations than humans. Trees, plants have higher vibrations. It's one of the reasons we're attracted to them. A lot of animals and things will start to come around you. Birds will land in places you've never seen them land. You might get an influx of dragonflies around you. You might see more mushrooms pop up around you. Trees that you never even noticed start to bloom. Cats come around that you've never seen before. Spiders, large cicadas, bugs. All these different types of animals are specific to manifestation. Some of them are specific to financial manifestation. So when something's coming around you want to make sure you understand what's changed in your environment, right? So don't just disregard it as, oh, it's just another big flying bug, or, oh, it's just another whatever. No, pay attention to the signs, because when it's time for your vibration to start going in a different way, you're always getting signs. You're always getting signs. So you want to consider your connections, right? You want to consider the things that you're connected to. People, places, ideas, thought processes, old paradigms, ways you thought about things you think are a certain way, out the window. Be willing to be less resistant to moving it in a different space, to a different space in your life, right? Not making it your showcase, right? Not making it your main event, right? So making it something that sits on the back burner that you can get back to, but at the same time be willing to ground something else out front. I hope that makes sense. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to take care of your physical body. This is the easiest thing. This is the easiest thing to do to raise your vibration. Go for a walk, get in nature, go for a run, go outside on your patio and do some squats. Hell, go outside and just sit there, sit in the sun, get in nature, get some fresh air, right? Take care of your physical body while this portal is opening and beyond, okay? When you're doing something in this energy, even if you do it for like 3 or 4 days, you are rooting yourself into the energy of something that can last you for a lifetime. So if it's been hard for you to stick to your workouts, if it's been hard for you to transition to veganism, if it's been difficult for you to eat more plant-based things, do it now. Do it now, because going forward, you're good. Something in you is going to want to stay that way. Something in you is going to say, wow, this is what I really am. This is who I really am, right? And so you want to start that now. Don't wait. Start that now, okay? And some of your brightest ideas might come to you while you're going for this walk. So keep that in mind, or while you're in the gym, but be intentional about what you're doing with your physical body, because that raises your vibration. And then you want to make sure that you're raising the veil daily, right? You want to be aware of any kind of spiritual signs, birds, animals, everything around you. Remember, things like cats are in yoga poses all day. Their back is like, they have like a sway back the whole day, right? Or they're stretching. They're in these poses. And if you don't know this about yoga poses, asanas, are synonymous with 6-dimensional things, right? 6-dimensional things, meaning that the vibration is much higher than what you see in 3D, 4D, or 5D. And so keep that in mind, right? So when cats and things like that come around you, it's a sign that's like, hey, time to raise that vibe up, time to get it together, you know? So there's always things coming around you and always signs available to you. So keep those things in mind, okay? Birds are the same way. They sing and they make sounds and they flutter in the way that is synonymous with the 6th and 7th dimension. So when you see a red bird land on your patio, it ain't just by coincidence. Like, they're trying to clue you into the vibration that is normally you, right? So keep these things in mind as well, right? And for some reason, we're drawn to these sounds, right? Same thing with like flutes and singing bowls and all of those things. These are multidimensional sounds. These are things that raise your vibe and help you really push forward out of this heavy 3D, lacking, low vibrational, ooh, look at their house kind of energy, right? It's time to get on out of that, right? It's time to move on away from that, okay? So real quick, I'm gonna run to the comments and then we're gonna finish up. She says, you better stop killing them spiders. Don't kill the spiders. Who killed them? Don't do that. I came across 2 spiders today too. Who killed them? Oh, don't kill them. Don't do that, right? They're also a sign that there might be another rodent or whatever around. So they're giving you information. So it's not worth killing them. She says, it just came from a 2-mile walk with my children. Beautiful. She says, do it now. You got it. Yes. Whatever you're trying to manifest and stay in for a while, do it now. She says, Shalita says, oh my God, every morning birds fly too close, dragonflies past you. Say that again. I'm sorry. She says, oh my God, butterflies and bees have been everywhere. There you go. It's a beautiful thing. So many red birds in my garden lately. That is beautiful. Shalita says, I feel they say to me, you see me, I see you. Yes, they do. They're always communicating. I have had where cats come and stay. Like at my old house, a cat came and stayed. Another bird built his nest. I don't even know how he built his nest, like up in the corner of the house. There was no ledge there. So I was like, what are they doing? I was like, what is all this? All of a sudden I saw like all this mud in the corner. And I was like, what is all that mud? And I wanted to get somebody to pressure wash it down. But then I was like, just leave it. Something just said, leave it. And came back within a couple of days. There's a full nest and somebody birthing birds. I was like, oh my God, like right on my front porch. And so keep those things in mind. That was a 7 house. It held the vibration of, I live in a 7 apartment now, right? Numerologically, right? It holds the vibration of spirituality, higher spirituality. So it's no question, me becoming a metaphysician, no question about it. I would never find this kind of knowledge in like a 5 house or a 4 house or a 9 house. It just holds a different vibration. I've been in a 7 house or apartment since like 2014. And look at what has happened to my life since then, right? So many things have changed. And so you want to check the vibration of your space as well. And so you want to make sure you're keeping track of your progress. This is where your journal comes into play. If something comes up for you and you know it's the veil, track it, y'all. Don't ignore it. Track it and then start to dig into, why is this here? Does it belong to me, or did somebody in my family give it to me? And if they did, can I do a return to sender? Yes, you can. You can do a return to sender with the full moon ritual. Write that thing down and set it on fire and release it. Send it back to wherever it came from, right? So that your veil keeps coming up, right? She says, what's the seventh house? Seven has to do with numerology. Right. So numbers hold vibration, and your house has a number to it. You add those numbers up and you keep adding them up till they reduce to one number. So for example, I lived at 682 Bentley Hill Road. I used to live there. That's a 7. I live at 3301. That's a 7. 3 + 3 + 0 + 1. Right. That's a 7. So I lived in a 7 place. I personally have lived in, and I didn't even notice that. But one thing I noticed about 7 homes is they are high metaphysical places. They are I would never go leave without an altar, an activated one, right? A deeper connection to the divine. Now I could get this in some other places, but it is perpetuated in a 7 house, right? And so someone says, I found a beetle under my bed covers, freaked me out, and I killed it. Next night, another one was in the same spot. You need to look that up and see what it means, right? Because it may not be what you think. Nicole says, sparrows on my window every morning. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, for example, I was saying, like, you might live in a 9 house. 9 is a number of completions, endings, all those different things. You're trying to get a relationship to thrive in a 9 house, probably not going to happen. Or you probably going to meet more challenges than is necessary, right? You live in a 2 house, that might work, because that's about couples, togetherness, family, love, right? So numbers hold vibration. I'm not going to get into that tonight. I'll do that another time. But numbers hold vibration. I know somebody asked about a 7 house, but just know which one and you can actually change the vibration of your home when you're ready to transition out of that home and go somewhere else. So you can add numbers to your home without adding numbers to your address too. So there's ways for you to do all of that as well. Okay. So really quickly, yes, return to sender. You want to make sure that, she said, we need a whole quantum leap group. We do, with meditations, affirmations. We need a bunch of stuff. It's coming, Shalita. It's coming, Shalita. It's coming. Okay. Now, I will say some of these things I teach in the Holistic Business Breakthrough Bootcamp and in LEAP, the Legacy Elite Professionals group. So they do get some of this walkthrough. Let me teach you how to set up your altar and how to make it actually work. Let me teach you how to do this return to sender thing. Let me teach you how to go into your dreams and break them down so that you're gathering all of this evidence and you're making sure that it makes sense for where you want your business to go or who you're here to serve or what you're here to do. So we do go through that stuff in HBBB and LEAP. So some people are in a quantum leap group and they have literally quantum leap, right? In whatever way they want to, right? It's been amazing just to see their progress in those groups. And so we do have some of that. I'll say that. Shalita, you have access to that if you're in Legacy. And so she said, yes, Nicole says, yes, we do. Yeah, we do have that. Legacy has that. But I don't have that in a free tribe because I know what Legacy students have learned. So by the time they come to HBBB or they come to LEAP, they're on it. They know there's much less resistance and there's greater manifestation. Lakeisha says, when is the next LEAP? LEAP is ongoing. It is monthly, right? LEAP is ongoing, but I will post another HBBB Holistic Business Breakthrough Bootcamp. And that's why I really kind of walk you guys through everything that I have in my home, how I've manifested with it, all that great stuff. HBBB, I did open to this Legacy group. And I find that when I have people in there that ain't in that didn't come through the school legacy, it becomes kind of an issue. They're still stuck. They have a different kind of veil still there. But Legacy does a lot of preparing in that health coaching course so that when people get done with it, they're in a different space. And you guys can attest to that if you're in Legacy now. They're just in a different space. So when they go through HBBB or LEAP, they are like on it, right? They're different. So anyone not in that, it's a little bit more challenging to teach that crowd. I'll just say it like that. So besides keeping track of your progress, you want to do some affirmations daily. Now, really quickly, I want to make sure you guys get this before we hop off, is the actual timeline. So this is important. So this is where you definitely want to write this down, okay? So when we're talking about the timeline, here you go. On August the 3rd, you got a full moon. During that full moon, you want to make sure you set intentions to do a release ceremony. Some of you guys might go get a yoni steam. Some of you guys might reset your altar, clean up your home, do all those things, get rid of stuff that doesn't serve you. Some of you guys might do a ritual release bath. Some of you guys might do whatever you do in the way that allows you to get rid of what doesn't serve you, okay? So you're going to do this in the energy of that moon on August the 3rd. Now, on August the 3rd through the 8th, remember, if you don't know this, full moon and new moon energy can last up to like 3-4 days. So even if you can, and I will say this, and I meant to say this in the beginning, but these live streams that I do, they are not time bound. So you might find this next year in 2021 and be watching this, and it will still serve you with the information that's in it. So it's not time bound. In general, a new moon and a full moon hold that energy is still around for anywhere from 4 to 5 days, really. And so you can still receive, manifest, release in that same energy of that same moon. Okay. So with that being said, you want to make sure that even though you have so say, for example, and I'm going to walk this through real quick, y'all. For example, if you are someone who actually you can't seem to get your thoughts and stuff together to do things on the 3rd, you can still come back on the 6th and figure everything out. Or your day is so busy tomorrow that you don't get an opportunity to do your new moon, your full moon stuff. The energy is still around. You can still create your ritual, walk things down, do what you want to do, and make it happen and make it work for yourself. Does that make sense, y'all? And then between the 3rd and the 8th, you want to be preparing to let the portal was open on the 26th of July, but it is going to reach its height on August the 8th. Okay. So I want to make sure you guys understand that it's been open. If you are starting to feel the energy around it, it's not just a full moon that you're feeling. It is the energy of this portal that has been open, and we're about to hit a peak on August the 8th. So you still got time to make sure that you lay everything out properly and that you're actually ready for that 8/8 portal to open up. Okay. That makes sense, y'all? Good stuff. Awesome. All right. So on the 8th, that's when the portal is at its highest. Now, like I said, it's been open, but that's when it's at its peak, right? And if you can't remember that, remember 8/8 every year is like the infinity sign. So what you're putting into place or what you're getting rid of and bringing in is going to matter for a very long time, right? Think infinity. It's gonna like almost like an imprint, right? Remember that. Okay. So when it happens on 8/8, you're going to activate this through meditation. This is where your altar. How many of you, if you have an altar, put your hand up in the comments. If you have an altar already, and if you don't, say not me or whatever. But if you do, put your hand up in the comments if you have an altar that you use on a regular basis, because this is important. If you have an altar, altars perpetuate energy. They just do. And if you go back and you study divinity, like for example, I just finished my bachelor's in seminary, right, in spiritual science. And one of the things I discovered, because I thought I was just going to school to learn about spirituality, but they was like, you need to learn about Jesus first. I'm like, what? So it was the first time I really recognized that seminary is highly spiritual and religion becomes the elective or something that people choose after that. But being taught in seminary really opened my eyes up to a lot of different things, especially the fact that altars were removed from people's homes because they perpetuate the relationship with God. And that person wouldn't necessarily need to go to church to get to it, right? Wouldn't need this third party. So keep that in mind, right? That might be heavy for some people to grasp. They only associate, as a result, they only associate altars with third parties in church. But in reality, you should have one in your home, because it perpetuates your beingness, right? Your ability to be a part of God, for crying out loud. Like, it perpetuates that. In this energy, you must use your altar. Because, and this is why, because if great ideas and different things try to come through you, and your veil comes down over you and says, I cannot do this. This is too much. I can't afford that. I don't know how that's going to happen. When these things start to happen, the altar is where you need to be to get yourself back into a significant amount of energy to push beyond that overwhelm. I cannot tell you how many times I have been overwhelmed from the first time I went through this portal in 2019. And I know now, the moment anything, and legacy has just grown tremendously, it would never be able to happen if I stood stagnant in my overwhelm. And there has been a lot of overwhelm, right? Like there's been a lot of overwhelm from administrators to teachers to full sales team to television to, like, there's been a lot of overwhelm in a very short period of time. And so that, if I didn't have that altar, we likely wouldn't have the growth we've seen. Because the moment I feel overwhelmed, I am compelled to go there. And it literally is your fail-safe. It perpetuates energy beyond the fifth dimension. Okay? So fifth dimension meaning things instantaneously can happen for you. When you are getting these ideas and things, you can go through this portal. You can activate yourself through this portal. But here's one thing I can guarantee you that is the evidence that it worked. You will feel overwhelmed because what you're supposed to bring through humanity may not be able to come through who you are right now. And as a result, you're going to need some place to go that perpetuates the energy of a different kind of dimension that resonates with who your beingness really is. I hope that makes sense. Please don't miss that. If you do not have an altar, it is worth binge watching on YouTube to get one. Get one, right? I am not, because I share altars in depth in HBBB and LEAP, I will not be doing anything concerning altars live here on Facebook, because this could be shared out anywhere. And I don't do that. Some people love to do that and they like a gazillion people to see it. That's not me. That's not me. So I like that energy to be contained, so everyone in that space gets what they need. I hope that makes sense. So I'm not trying to hold out on y'all. I just don't do it that way. So you want to make sure that you have your altar to continue, not just to perpetuate the energy to activate your ability to go through this portal, because your altar is where you're going to be meditating, but you also want to make sure you've got that altar as your fail safe as this thing activates over the next year for you. And you might get things that feel overwhelming, but you got to save space that perpetuates all the energy you'll need. Okay. Beyond that, we've got our new moon coming in on August the 18th. Whoop-de-doo. And in that new moon, new beginnings. Think of it that way. And so everything that you have done, think about how you're going to roll something new out. Right. And what it means to be able to roll out those new ideas and all of the goodness that comes through. So really quickly, I'm going to run to the comments. You guys, we are over time. I'm so sorry, but thank you guys for hanging here with me. Destiny says, yes. Nicole says, HBBB helped me complete the altar I needed. Yes, indeed it does, man. Oh, we HBBB don't play. Angela says, I'm going to build one. I didn't fully understand it at first. Yeah, I mean, and do it with all of this stuff, because you can go back and watch this replay and all that stuff, you guys, and I hope you do, because you'll always get something new, something new out of it when you rewatch it. But I will say that do your own research. I cannot say that enough. Your beingness is so brilliant. And there might be something that you realize that even me or someone else could never have taught you. And it's just something like your teachers, people you look up to, they're really there to activate what's already in you. And so the more I reached for myself, the more I released my skepticism and released what people said I should be, the more it put me in a space of like this nakedness to just go reach for who I am. Like, who am I really? Not what you said I should be, not what they said I should think, but who am I really? And when we start asking those questions, the humanness sits down and the beingness stands up. And that's real. And when that happens, can't nobody nowhere promise you that you're going to do nothing. You can promise it to yourself. They can't promise you what money you're going to make and how they can put you on a pedestal, because if they put you up there, they can take you down. Keep that in mind too. But your beingness already knows what it needs to know. Your beingness already knows. Me and everybody else, we just reminding you of it. We're just activating, right? Right. So she says, oh, I absolutely enjoyed this. I could talk about this all night. Yeah, I was going to bring someone on, you guys, but I think we've done enough here. Yeah. I'm glad I enrolled in your school. I am so grateful that you're here. I am. And because I know you're going to get some awesome results. She says, I have 3 altars too. Captoria, that's amazing. Destiny says, I have 3 altars in my home. Awesome. She says, thank God I am part of Legacy. Legacy is the truth. Since I bought something I thought I would use as one, but have not actively done anything with it. So here's what you can do if you haven't done anything with your altar, because I didn't just like make an altar. Like, mine came to me like in a dream, right? And at first I was like, I ain't doing that. Veil, right? Veil. I already got an answer for it. I ain't doing it. Veil, right? So everybody has a veil, right? Everybody has one. And so when it comes to altars, in my dream, it kept showing up like these travelers. And I have an ancestral altar, and you can have one specifically for money manifestation. You know, I have a sister who has an altar for generational curses and breaking them, you know. So if her altar empowers mine, you know what I mean? And so for me, I had a dream, and it was like all these kind of travelers and things that are lost and all this kind of stuff. I didn't realize that, and it was almost like they were looking at me to tell them where to go. And I was like, build an altar. I'm not doing that. I ain't doing that. And I had to realize that these were like my ancestors who were looking for a place not to settle, but to serve and to really reconnect and be a part of my legacy. And from there, I was like, still, you know, not that I'm not going to do it, but I don't know anything about it. Y'all got to tell me what you want. And I would just say, okay, I'm going to go to this store today. Just show me what you guys want. And that's kind of how my altar evolved. So I didn't buy everything in one day, but I bought little piece after little piece. And now, every now and then the traveler dream went away because it kept showing up. But now, every now and then, they show me something to, like, I recently was shown something to be added, and I'm not going to say what, but it's something that had been showing up forever in my dreams. And I was like, I don't even know what it's called. I don't know what to look for. But I went on Etsy, and it was like right on the front page. I was like, that's the thing I saw in my dream. That's what they call it. And so I started looking at all of them and actually bought 2 of them. So it took it forever to get here because they had to hand carve it and all these things and put stones in it and all that stuff. So I bought those, and those are on my altar charging now. So I'm going to use those with this portal, right? With the things that are going on. She says, I have an ancestor altar too. Awesome. Ashe. So she says, this is powerful. So yeah, Lakeisha. So, and anybody else, if you don't have one, if you don't know how to do it, just ask in your dreams, however you pray, however you think of something without ceasing, because that is also prayer, right? Holding something, holding to a vision, holding a thought in your head is your ability to pray without ceasing. That is how man creates miracles, if you don't know that. And so your ability to stay in that thought process of desiring an altar and what you want, it will show up for you. It has to, because your beingness, that's how you work. That's how the God in you works, right? So I hope that makes sense. She says, I'm in cohort 11 and my life has been changed tremendously. Oh, and we are enrolling. I guess I should say this, right? I kind of just put these slides together, y'all. So that's why you see the legacy stuff up there. I just kind of copied a design I already had, but that's why it's there. But for those of you who are interested in legacy or HBBB or LEAP or any of those things, you can definitely call us at that 628-262 coach me, or 628 coach me is the number. And somebody will talk to you. We just hired a full team. So I promise somebody gonna answer that phone and talk to you. So she says, stay the course for Lean Cannon cohort 1. Awesome. Yeah, Lakeisha's in the inaugural cohort. All right, y'all. Listen. As always, y'all, it has been an absolute pleasure sharing time and space with every single one of you. If you have any other comments about anything, if you want me to do a specific live stream other than altars, remember I said I'm not gonna do that live because it's too much of a sacred process. I'm not doing that outside of people who are not in legacy. Anyone in legacy, we have it through LEAP and HBBB. But make sure you also send love and light to someone in the comments before we hop off. Y'all know that's how we always do. And I also just want to say thanks, y'all, for listening in. Thanks for listening in. If there's something in particular y'all want me to cover, let me know. And as time allows, I'll get back in this group and I will actually cover it. You should know that I don't arbitrarily just go live just to go live. So if you're looking for a tribe where people are always live and they're just always, no. That's not necessarily how this tribe flows. And I try to stay in the flow of that. But I know that sometimes for some people, they want to stay connected and it can be a little bit frustrating or challenging when you guys don't see me live all the time. Please know that I am always holding space for every single person in this tribe. And the moment I know that something needs to be taught or something needs to go forth, I am here and I make sure that I bring it forth in absolute obedience to God and for this tribe. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Right. So send somebody love and light, y'all, because this was worth every bit of it. All right. That being said, love and light, y'all.